City Council to order. First up is the roll call. We have two council members. Councilmember Martinez said he's going to be 5 minutes late tonight, and Councilmember Dominguez may or may not be joining us. She's at her son's football game. So we are joined by Councilmember Parisi, Councilmember Schultz, and Mayor Pro Tem McFerrin. So first is approval of the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we'll move on to approval of the consent agenda, which includes the city council minutes from the 9/16/2025 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Before we go to the public hearing, I understand that we have a number of high school students who are attending tonight, and you are very welcome. And rumor has it we'll need to sign some papers when we're done, so we're glad to do that. And we're also glad to answer any questions that you might have on the procedures. So next up on the agenda is item number 4, public hearing. Open a public hearing on the Code of Ordinances of the city by amending the provisions pertaining to the fire department. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, opening public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, it's a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Schultz,
Yes.
Friesick,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
Okay, this change is occurring because of the 2080 agreement for fire protection and the establishment of the new agency. So first order here, are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Hearing none, have any of the council or the city manager or the city clerk received any correspondence?
I've not received any correspondence, Mr. Mayor.
I have not received.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Friesick,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
Okay, that brings us to 4A, which is ordinance 2025-1007-114. The ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the city of West Liberty, Iowa by amending the provisions pertaining to the fire department and the first reading. So is there a motion to approve this ordinance change?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Friesick,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
All right, then we move on to item 5, public hearing on amending the ordinance by amending the provisions pertaining to the leash law. Is there a motion to go into public hearing?
Motion to go into public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Schultz,
Yes.
Friesick,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
All right, we are now in the public hearing. Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Friesick,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
Next item is item 6, a public hearing on the ordinance of the city of West Liberty by amending the provisions pertaining to fireworks. Is there a motion to?
Leash law.
Mayor, you-
I'm sorry, do we need to do the ordinance, don't we? Okay, we go to 5A, excuse me. Ordinance 2025 1017, or I mean 07-115, an ordinance for the first reading pertaining to the leash law. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Friesick,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
Now, and joined by Councilmember Venus, we will now move to item 6 and open the public hearing on amending the code of ordinances by amending provisions pertaining to fireworks. Is there a motion to go into a public hearing?
Motion to go into public hearing?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Friesick,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
We're now in public hearing, and are there any public comments? Yes,
Yes, regarding the changes to the fireworks ordinance. First matter of introduction, I'm Brad Havlin. I've lived at 804 North Elm Street going on 50 years. This last 4th of July was a real trying experience in the evening, but I want to say up front. I'm all for everybody's rights to have fireworks the way the state has amended their code 727.2. My thinking of it is that as long as folks keep them on their own property, inside their own property line, both ground fireworks and aerial fireworks, I'm just fine with it. I mean, when my adult children were small, we would go to a friend's house that has a county permit. And they would have fireworks out there. We have grand old time. We used to go to the fire department fireworks, watch them there at the center of the fairgrounds around the track. Loved them. Okay. Now, first of all, I got a question for the council people that are here. Have all you folks taken the opportunity to read State Code 727.2 regarding the as 2024 regarding the fireworks, the new fireworks law? Great. Because I printed out something on here I'd like to read to you. Under the second paragraph, health, safety, and welfare, subsection 4C. Persons shall not use consumer fireworks on real property other than that person's real property, or on the real property of a person who has consented to the use of consumer fireworks on that property. A person who violates this subsection commits a simple misdemeanor. Okay, the reason that I find this pertinent, I seldom come to city council meetings, and this is a hot button issue regarding what happened on my property last July 4th in the evening between 8:45 and 10:45. First, I was in my living room. My property faces west. I'm on the east side of Elm Street, second lot north of 8th Street. I was watching television. All of a sudden, I heard an explosion over my house. Okay, I don't get around very fast, as you can tell, but by the time I got to the front door, I saw a rental property across the street from ours. And 2 adult males had mortar tube fireworks in the ground. They didn't have them vertically to go off over their property. They had them going over Elm Street and invariably over my front yard and over the front part of my house. Okay, now when that happened, they fired 3 or 4 more, and by this time I was out in my front stoop outside my front door, seeing where they came down. And the colored sparks from the airburst were coming down in my front yard, but more importantly, on the front part of my house on my asphalt shingles. Okay, and I screamed, hollered, waved my hands at them. I didn't know how many more they were gonna do or whatever. And, I don't know if I scared them out. I don't know if those folks lived on that property, if they were guests. I don't know any more about it. Except that at that point, that group pulled the tubes out of the ground and went in the backyard. Okay, I thought, well, maybe this is over, and I stood there and waited for 5 to 10 more minutes, no other action. Went in the house, sat back down to my television show. As if on cue, about 5 minutes later, I hear an explosion in my backyard. Now, my lot runs from Elm Street to the alley that splits, that comes off of 8th Street and goes around to Elm Street. I have a detached garage back there with an asphalt shingle roof. Okay, I heard one firework go off. I went out there. They launched 2 more in single succession after that. And the burst went off. They came down over my detached garage. The shingle roof on that, and my neighbor to the north, he has a machine shed where he keeps his lawnmowers, snow plows and that. Okay, came down on his area. At this time, I went across the alley. I walked with my cane across the alley, went to the fence, because I know the person that owns that property, but the people that live there are at this time are just relatives. But I saw 2 adult males in the backyard with more mortar tube fireworks in the ground. And by the time I got over there to the fence, they were watching little kids playing with sparklers, ground blue flowers, spinners, the clay ash snakes at the little kids fireworks.
Sure.
And I motioned for one of the adults to come over, and all they did was smile at me and wave at me. Okay, so when that happened, I waited for a couple more minutes and I said, please, I want to talk to you about something, and they wouldn't approach me. Then I noticed, before I backed away from their chain link fence, I noticed a copious amount of adult beverage cans and bottles laying in the backyard. So I took it for granted those folks were shooting off heavy duty fireworks, and even the young fireworks for the little, and they were 2 small kids that I know live in that house. And they've been taken, which is irrelevant to my conversation. They can drink all they want to. For that matter, to my way of thinking, they can shoot off as many fireworks as they want, and the guys in the front yard can do the same, as long as they keep the rockets, the mortar tube fireworks, which are also called shells. They launch them vertical. They go off over their property. That's fine. They can make as much racket as they want with that, and I, have a great time. Knock yourself out. But after that bunch in my backyard over my garage, I stood around out there waiting to see if they were done, and I thought they were. I was just about to go in the house, and I thought, well, maybe I'll drag my wife's garden hose with a spray gun on it out to the alley, which I did. Okay. About that time, they launched off about 5 more mortar tube fireworks, and was the same result. Some of them had colored flaming sparks landing on my garage. Some of them were landing on their own garage, which that's their business if they want to fight fire. Okay. But this time, my neighbor to the north with the machine shed, he was out in the backyard watching what was going on. Okay. So I hollered over there to him. I said, please don't shoot them over my property. Okay, no response. So there was another lull. I don't know if they were playing with their kids or whatever. However, this repeated itself 3 or 4 more times. until about, I'm gonna say 10:45. In the midst of all of this, the loudest pyrotechnic display I have ever heard in my life, especially in my time in West Liberty, was going on between 4th Street and 7th Street and from Elm Street to Clay Street. And I'm sure this officer in blue here, whoever was on duty that night, they couldn't have helped. They couldn't have missed that. Okay, and I know the city had on Facebook, there's no permissible fireworks to be shot off the way the ordinance reads now until you amend it. Okay, there's no fireworks that are supposed to be shot off in the city of West Liberty. But there was no police patrols either. Because my wife didn't see anybody going down Elm Street between 8:45 and 11, because we watched. There was no police cruiser going down that way, and there was nobody on 8th Street from Park Street to Elm Street. Now, so the end of my rant here, I apologize, and I'm not a public speaker, but I'd like to know, what can the city council do, city government do for people that live in this town that choose not to engage in fireworks, but how can you protect me and my property and my relatives from the negligence or whatever of my neighbors?
Well, let me first say that you're more tolerant of them than I am. I was a member of the Iowa House of Representatives when fireworks were legalized. They had been banned from the 1930s on in this state. And you're more tolerant of them than I am. I voted no on those becoming back in. Much for the whole reasons that you talked about and the amount of injuries and so forth that occur with that. As far as what we can do is enforce what we are allowed to enforce under the new ordinance and under what the provisions are in the law. The chief is sitting next to you, can talk with you more about that, and we can prepare for that for next year.
Well, appreciate you hearing me out.
Yes,
It's just a miracle. If it hadn't rained the 2 previous days before 4th of July, that's the only thing that I can think of to why I didn't have a spark fire on either the front of my house or on my garage.
I like the displays that you mentioned earlier that fire departments, other organizations did put on under the old laws with the permissions to do so. I don't like how it is currently, but it is the law of the state.
I mean, I have witnesses to what happened. This is my son that lives on Park Street, right across the street over here. He was in his upstairs looking north and saw the burst going off over my garage. And my wife was looking out the back door and saw it too, so. Yeah, oh, and my neighbor to the north.
Yeah, I'm not doubting.
None of that's in this. Like, it's none of that's in this.
Yeah,
You just wanna know.
what the city can do to protect us, because
Just be safe.
when this happens, you folks, granted, you're doing your job, you're gonna amend the ordinance. Okay, with and get behind the new state law, I get it. The thing is, if the same sort of thing, well, I'm gonna try the adult approach and go, I don't know if it's gonna be July 3rd or 4th, depending on the language of the ordinance change next year. But I intend to walk over to my neighbors, and I'm on pretty good terms with the landlord or the owner of that property. And the lady that has the 2 children that live there. I'm gonna talk to them and try to talk to somebody, ask them, A, are you gonna shoot fireworks again this year the way you did last year? And try to let them know, if you do, shoot them vertical, so when they explode, they come down on your property and not mine. So if the thing repeats like it did last July 4th, I will simply call the 627-2223.
Good,
Get the county dispatch number and get an officer down there.
Yeah.
Now, the chance of an officer catching them in the act, if they're spacing them out, it's gonna become not so much a matter of my property being protected, but it's a matter of safety in that case.
yeah, I think I would encourage that to be I mean, you have the right to say what you want to say in this situation. I would encourage you to get the police involved as soon as possible and to spend a few minutes talking with the chief on doing that. Isn't there, it's been a while since I've looked at the overall law, but I think there's a provision where they can be shot off around Christmas time as well.
Yeah.
So we might want to be.
We can't, but any more than the state does, and so, which, you know, it's pretty open on the select dates where they're allowed to launch fireworks within city limits, so. As that was changed, the stuff on Facebook that was posted in error because that was the previous stuff, not the last ratification of the state law fireworks, so they are permitted. In city limits, stuff that, but granted, they should not be shooting over your property, you are correct, they should keep it inside of the property limits.
Well, like the new code, the new state code says, I mean, anywhere from the ground at 83 feet above your ground, your property right border goes up. I learned more about this than I really wanted to know. Okay, but anyway, they're violating your real property rights, and it's a misdemeanor, as it says in the code.
Well, they ratified it in 2024, they just recently, this past, the law passed the ratification of firework law.
Thank you. Are there other public comments? Are there other public comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Friesick,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
This time, I'll remember that we have 6A, ordinance 2025. 1007-16, an ordinance amending the code of ordinance pertaining to fireworks, first readings. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I just want to remind everybody that this is coming from the state. The reason why we have to amend this and
Yeah.
put this into place, this is coming from our codifier stating that we have to update this to bring it into compliance.
All right, the clerk will call the roll.
Friesick,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
All right, reports. Anything on the city engineer and on the city manager's report? Is in the
Mr. Mayor, at this time, the engineer did not have any further updates from this previous report.
And Craig's reports in there, and we noted that Jerry Bruce.
Brad.
Has passed another level of certification. So, all right, any questions over Craig's report? Brittany's report is in the file. So all of these reports are in the file. And back on the issue of fireworks for one more time, I think the chief, they had investigation of 3, maybe it was, I can't remember the exact number, but there were some investigations of fireworks being shot off this last month. Okay, are there any questions over the library report, electrical report, safety, police report? All right, hearing none. And also Lee's report is in the file. Are there any questions or comments or for city manager for her report? There have been no committee report meetings that I'm aware of. I anticipate that Monday night we'll have another fire department meeting. We get the agenda on that usually on Fridays, and that's a public meeting that anyone can attend as well. Item number 8, vendor voucher claims in the amount of $757,906.10. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We move to item number 9, which is public comments and or correspondence, and it's the time set aside for items of concern that are not on the agenda and no action can be taken on them. We ask people to state their name for the record and keep their comments to no more than 2 minutes. Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Hearing none, I'll move to the council. Councilmember Parisi.
I'm not received any correspondence.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem McFerrin,
No, haven't received it.
Councilmember Schultz,
I have not received them.
Councilmember Martinez.
I haven't received anything.
Okay, all right, how about the city manager?
Nothing outside of what was in my report. So.
All right, we'll move on to item 10A, new business. Discussion and appropriate action on the appointment of Keegan Paisley, who is in the audience tonight, to finish out the term of Hannah Jessmore Potts that ends December 2027 with the possibility of reappointment following completion of his partial term. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Congratulations and thank you for serving in this capacity. Next up is 10B, discussion and appropriate action on the by the city council on the event assistance and street closure for the application of Christopher Eck, thank you, and Stephanie Valles for the Dia de los Moritos. Moroto.
All right.
Yeah. All right. And this is, I've participated in this last year. This will be in Rendezvous Park. And so there really isn't street closure with this, but is there a motion, or is there discussion, first of all? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to go ahead and approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we will move to 10C, discussion and appropriate action by the city council of West Liberty on event assistance and street closure application by Ashley Smith and Jessica Madsen for the Comet Classic on Saturday, October 11th. So first up is discussion. Any discussion?
It pretty much had a pretty good detail of
Yeah, very.
everything is going to be, so. Yeah, and this isn't something that just started. I think they've been doing it for quite some time. I'd say, I think, I almost want to say it's 5th year, but yeah, I don't know if we have any students in
I
the
think this is the third.
3rd year, okay. Yes, thank you.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to go ahead and approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next up is resolution 2025 1007-277. A resolution amending the year-end transfers for FY 24-25 to update the ambulance and the library. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
So just over the resolution, we had a duplicate with the local option sales tax transfers, so the clerk is identified that we're removing that duplicate transfer. So there was to be only one, and that was the transfer for the capital fundraiser. And then from the reserve for the ambulance, those funds were not, that was not identified at the time of our year-end entry, but after our financial reconciliation and reviewing our levied portion, this is the amount that was identified to cover expenditures over the revenues and the tax levy provided.
And that's a pretty typical yearly thing we see.
Yes, Councilmember Schultz.
And this comes out of the reserve.
This
Right.
currently comes out of the reserve
Ambulance
for the ambulance board. That's been in place, to my best of my understanding, since 2018, when we took on additional staffing.
All right, is there further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes,
Friesick,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, we move to 10E and having a 3.5-year-old granddaughter who's been sleeping in her Halloween costume. This would be recognizing trick or treating as an annual community event and authorizing the city manager to coordinate related activities. And that will be on October 31st. Is there a motion to approve?
motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
This is for both the trail and citywide trick or treating.
Yeah.
Right.
So historically, we've always brought this to the council and just for coordinating the events around trick or treating. The clerk and I recommend that we just recognize it and we set the time in accordance year after year with events, or again, if there happens to be, gosh forbid, we don't want to have another pandemic, but if there's other additional situations that occur, this allows us to work with the staff and coordinate that time if we need to go on a different date or and not have to, put that on council and put that on the community members participating and putting activities together to wait for an announcement. But if council prefers, that would be up to you. If this is, one annual item that you look forward to and want to be the deciding factor on the event, then by all means, we would support that as well.
You mean separating the two out?
No,
or-
no, that you always just maintain setting the trick or
Oh.
treat trail and the
Yeah,
Halloween,
fine.
but
that's fine. I wanted to clarify that it's from 5 to 7:30 and to,
yeah, that's
know that
covering both events, yeah.
in case people start trick or treating house to house at 5. I know that may not happen, but in case it does.
Yeah, currently the events go up where we stay separately, the trail times. And then there's the communication of the house to house. This is just covering both events time frame.
Yeah,
I just, cause in some cases.
So
in
the
case-
separation will be decided from year to year and
Yeah.
that will be
Yeah.
dictated then.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as long as it's like, but I think some people would read this and say, that seems like a long time for a house to house, but as long as it's separated from the trail time to the house time, then yeah.
I know
That's
last
fine.
year we had touch base on adding an extra half an hour,
Yes,
just because our town's getting bigger. I didn't know if that was what you wanna do this year, or we want next year. And see how it
I'm
comes
fine
around,
with it,
but. Up to you, we can come back next year and see how this year turns out. I know it gets started early, but.
The resolution is just allowing
Yeah,
the city manager to work with the departments to set those times. So if anybody had questions on the resolution itself, it would just be allowing her to make those decisions along with the department.
And I don't know if this was ever an issue in West Liberty, but I think it was sometime in the 50s and still is an issue with some cities that they do Baker's Night on the 30th rather than Halloween on the 31st. And so some people are confused which night that they're actually doing the trick or treating. All right, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Friesick,
yes.
McFerrin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes,
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, next up is item 10F, setting a date for the Buildings and Ground Committee meeting that involves the Mayor Pro Tem and Council Member Martinez. So you two probably are the best two to make a recommendation of when that should be.
You're still fine with weekends then?
Yep, I mean,
Saturday mornings?
I don't know if
That would work for me,
yeah.
I'm for the 18th. That's too soon.
Sure. That's fine for me.
Mayor, are you gonna need me there at that meeting, because I don't get them with my girls volleyball until the 18th is my last day coaching.
I can't be there the 18th, but I'm warm.
We have, remind me again, Brittany, University of Iowa Mobile Clinic.
It is going to be, I believe the week after, it'll be the 25th. Yes.
It would be a preference to have the clerk, there to clerk the minutes. So,
I just-
because it's an official committee meeting,
November 1st. Or is that so far?
You didn't want it in conjunction with the mobile clinic?
I'm good. I'll be covering the mobile clinic that weekend. It's just, again, I know, with the clerk, just coordinating. Because she's volunteered to coach, youth sports volleyball. And so it's just really more coordination with her availability. Or if you wanted to assign it to the deputy clerk, that would be up to you.
I was thinking the 25th, but you said the 25th was the mobile clinic date, and I didn't know if that is something that you guys didn't want to meet that day.
No, that was
Okay.
fine. I was just trying to make sure I knew what date and when it's gonna be busy and, it's typically not
But the 25th.
busy. It's just knowing that they would have some
25th,
activity.
Yeah, I can do the 25th.
okay.
What time?
Yeah, I am free, so.
Free, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Earlier the better or later?
Later works best for you.
Yeah, what works best for you both?
I was gonna say, as a heads up for the mobile clinic, they are usually there by 9:30 to set up with volunteers, and they open by 11.
Do we have a big agenda for our meeting?
It's really just touching base on what the current things that have been accomplished here with this building. It's also talking about that timeline for the pool and any other agenda items that staff may have for us. The other thing would be talking about City Hall and transitioning that in with the public safety building from.
How about 9:30?
That works,
9:30 work?
Okay,
as long as somebody stops by Castle Coffee and gets me.
That'll work.
okay, we'll move on to 10G, setting a date for the policy committee meeting and case by case flexibility, so. Who's on the policy committee? I don't.
So,
Very big.
Who?
They're saying, they don't just carry a date.
They're on the next, they're on
So
the finance committee.
if this one, it's exactly how it reads is how it is, so it's gonna be dependent on what city manager Gertz is needing to discuss.
yeah,
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay.
yeah, this is really, just a review of, the current policy and giving an update as to where we're at with the employee handbook training. We do have a communications policy. Again, I'm fine if we don't wanna have the policy committee meet on it and just present it to the council as a whole. But that's the option to bring to I do not have any other HR items currently right now. Outside of that would be codification updates, as a part of, if you're wanting to have that more through a committee conversation versus how we're handling it, it's just, touching base on those items.
What do our rules require? Does this need to be 2 council members? So,
And if we don't, and again, if we don't have, I mean, that's what we currently have right now.
Yeah.
But, and that's just the conversation with the council as a whole. If you want to have 2 people assigned to the meet and go over those things or not. I think previously it had been Mayor Pro Tem McFerrin and Councilmember Schultz that reviewed this. We formally kind of talked to it about the employees.
So I feel.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, sure.
You worked hard on the game, but too, it'd be nice to kind of just look at it.
Okay.
so we'll leave it up to the 3 of you if there's a,
Yeah.
just schedule and come up with a.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, and then item 10H, set a date for the finance committee. And that is Mayor Pro Tem McFerrin and Councilmember Dominguez, who's not here. So do we want to wait?
Yeah.
You to discuss and determine.
Just to say again, you know, we're just putting that reminder, the financial committee, you know, that's that checks and balance and the oversight for them to be reviewing. You know, the treasurer's reports and the clerk's reports. And, you know, any questions or setting time to, you know, work with the finance side of things, even from budget conversation to see, you know, we're coming up on 6 months into this current fiscal year, where we're at with that. And having that due diligence conversation with the financial status of the city, so. That would be what the committee would wanna organize around to discuss.
Do it by email to schedule a time.
Yep. And I would say, I'm sorry, I wanna jump back to the policy. I would say we probably wanna look in November. Because we will have the employee handbook training coming up that you've been invited to participate. If you're not available, then you can get that. We'll provide a link to that training. And then any other policies that we have currently, we can review those as well. Okay, sorry, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We're up to item 10I. And a couple of things, there will be a work session to look at the 2024-25 goals. And then during the meeting, we've had discussions regarding the electrical agreement and memberships. And so that will be on the agenda again for that meeting. And also the holiday open house holiday stroll will be November 22nd and 23rd. So there will be an agenda item regarding that at the next council meeting as well. I can't think of any, well, and we'll continue on the ordinance work that we started tonight. So those are kind of a preview of things that are coming up.
Mr. Mayor, for the
Yeah.
record, would we be, could we have the students, your teacher's name, your class, if one of you wanted to answer whose class are you participating in, who's your instructor?
Mr. Laughlin for
Okay.
government club.
Okay,
Okay, great.
and then, I didn't know if after we close, if the students would like to stand with the mayor and we can get your picture and there you have more proof that you were.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Also another thing, are you still doing the citizenship recognitions?
Yes, and we will have, I like and have talked to Jacob Lane at the chamber. I like having people who've gained their citizenship be the people who light the Christmas tree. And we have so far 3 that will be participating in doing that with the lighting of the Christmas tree. Yeah, thanks. Yes, all right, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? Second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we are adjourned.